Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a Dodge Charger RT. This one is pre-owned. If you guys are wondering on the year, this particular one is a 2019. As always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Provo, Utah for providing us with the Charger. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get right into it. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, power outputs are going to be 375 horsepower and then 395 pound-feet of torque. And then the 0 to 60 time is roughly in the 5-second range. Now let's go over the front end on the RT. And one of the things that I love is the little hood scoop there at the top. I mean, that just looks super aggressive. I think that's one of the best additions to the newer RTs. And then also the front fascia that they kind of stole from the SRT. Just that whole look makes it look so much more aggressive. You guys can see this one has the baseline lights. So they are still projector lights, but they are halogen lights. But you do get the LED lights that go around them. And other than that, there's the front end. Now coming to the side here, the tires are 245 millimeters, and then for the wheels themselves, they're 20-inch. And then I love how they've done the granite crystal for the wheels themselves. So it's that metallic gray. I think it looks really nice. Yes, it's super similar to the black exterior paint, but I still think it's a really nice look. You got the Hemi badging right there. And then other than that, here's your full side profile on the RT. Here's our key fob for the RT. You have a couple functions on the front. You've got the unlock, the lock, remote start, and then the release for the trunk. And then you got the Dodge logo on the back. Just press the remote start twice though. First time we'll lock it, second time we'll start it up. And you guys will hear that big beefy V8 come to life. Kind of makes like a chug 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 sound. Next function is that release for the trunk, and yes, fully opens it up, and you guys can see, just like all the other Chargers, there's a massive amount of storage space back here. And then coming over here with this little loop, you guys can see that under here we've got a little fix-a-flat kit and all that. No spare tires, sadly, but fix-a-flat kit actually works really good. And well, that's all for the back. Now we have done the magic with the shadow that I always do, and you guys can see the light bar on the back. I think it's a signature look on the Chargers. Every single time I see one of these at night, definitely slow down. But you guys can see the spoiler there at the top. It is body color, but it sticks out quite a bit, so it definitely has a nice look. Got the RT badging, dual outlet exhaust, and that's everything for the rear. Coming around the side here, you guys can see on the door panel, you actually have cloth trim right there, and then you got the leather just down below. This one does have the cloth interior, which obviously would save you a little bit of money compared to one that has the leather. Now, popping in, got to duck my head a little bit, but getting back here, it's actually pretty comfortable. Legroom is decent. I'm about 5'11", and you got a little storage pocket back there. Now, in terms of headroom, good on that as well. And then you actually get a couple of vents, a couple of USBs, and got little cup holders that pull out from there, and it's all for the back. Now coming up to the front, again, we've got a keyless entry, and opening up, you guys will see the door panel here in the front. You got that same cloth trim that goes all across, and then you've got the leather down below. You've got your window controls, mirror controls, and then for the seats, you can see that they've got pretty wide bolsters on them, so really comfortable. If you are a bigger person, you'll fit pretty comfortably. There is your adjustments on the side, and then you can see the little pedal layout just at the bottom, and then right over here you've got your light controls, and then the release for the trunk. Steering wheel adjustment, which is manual. That's all. Now to start up this bad boy, just got to push the push start. It'll say Charger there in the center, and everything will come to life. Now for the steering wheel itself, you guys will notice that you've got the smooth leather at the top and at the bottom. You got the perforated leather on either side. Cruise control on this side. You got the controls for the center stack, and then voice commands just down below. See the paddle shifters to shift the gears yourself on the back, and then you got the rocker panels with the radio controls, and then you got that for the turn signal, and then also for the windshield wipers, and it's all for the steering wheel section. Now for the gauges here, you guys can see you've got RPMs over on the left side. On the right side, you got the speed, and then you got a couple different menus you can scroll through. I like the performance side because then it shows you different bits of performance information on the car, and wow, whoever owned this car, good job. And yeah, that's the whole performance side, and that's all for the gauges. Now coming here to the center stack, we'll pop it into reverse so you guys can see what the back of the camera looks like. The trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel. And this is the more updated version of the touchscreen for the Dodges, so response time on it is really solid. And you guys can see you do get a dual zone climate, even though this is kind of like your entry level interior. You still get the performance pages, which you guys have seen that a million times, so I'm not gonna basically put you through it, but the performance pages just show you different gauges, so I can see real-time horsepower, RPMs. And they got the performance control for the different drive modes. The most important one obviously is sport mode, and even get launch control, so pretty neat. Down here, we've got the analog controls for the radio. The Super Track Pack, all that does is just pop open the performance control, and then that puts you into the sport mode. There's your analog dual zone climate controls. Here's the shifter for the 8-speed automatic, and you've got the manual shift function. Got a little 12-volt right there, and it's cool. It says Dodge Brothers right here, designed in Detroit. So you get that little nice thing. And then you got the cup holders, center console. Now lifting this up, you guys can see that storage space is pretty good. You've got a couple of USBs back there, which is nice. Leather at the top. And then coming over here, you can see in the glove box, that's pretty good. You got a little shelf right there. It says charger at the top. Up top here, we've got universal garage door openers with a couple lights, and you got a little sunglass holder as well. Black headliner, which matches the bottom, and that's all. Now that we're done going over the interior, let's quickly talk about pricing. So with these used RT Chargers, it really just depends on how old the car is and how many miles it has. Now, the new 8-speed automatic transmission, the first year that came out with the Chargers was the 2015 model year. So if you want the 8-speed, get a 2015 or newer. And then if you want like this newer front fascia that looks really cool, get a 2019 or newer, and you can get that like cool front fascia on the RTs. And in terms of the pricing, I mean, I've seen it as low as like the high teens, low 20s, and all the way up to still in the $40,000 range if it's like a really new, really low mileage one. And that all being said, let's take this bad boy out and see how it drives. Let's quickly talk about visibility before we set off in this RT Charger. So visibility over the hood is really easy to see with that. There's your visibility through both of the mirrors, which is really solid. And then here's all throughout the rear as well. So in general, it's pretty easy to see out of the Charger, and well, let's set off. Well, I am setting off here in this RT Charger, and it's actually been a minute since I've driven. Well, yeah, it's been a minute since I've driven any Charger. It seems like Chargers have been kind of slowly disappearing. Maybe they're about to come to an extinction event, sadly. Hopefully not. But first off, the thing that I notice is definitely has that like big, substantial sedan feel to it. And ooh, I can actually see it in the reflection there. Turn signal, all that looks pretty cool. I love the LED lights, just like the C-rings that it has. I think they just have like a really cool aesthetic appeal to it. But so far from like the visibility standpoint, all that, I already talked about that, but what I meant to mention is just driving it actually. It feels very open. Like being in this car, even though it doesn't have like a sunroof or anything like that, it still has like this open feel to it, which I definitely like. It kind of just gives it kind of like, again, like more open, airy feel, which is just nice in a car. Well, now that I am officially setting off, let's talk about the road noise and ride quality. So you guys saw the little bump there. So obviously when you go over things, it does affect the car quite a bit. You can go over another one. Yeah, you guys can see, but when you're actually on the road, it's very smooth other than that. And coming through this roundabout here, let's wait to see what this guy does, and good to go. So going through this roundabout with the steering, it's very light. I just drove a Mustang today, and this definitely doesn't feel as direct as that, so it kind of has like that more floaty type feel, if that makes sense, right? Not as much input happens, but I mean, the body roll is pretty minimal on it, so overall it's pretty solid from like a handling perspective. Definitely though has a bigger, more substantial feel. Now I'll pop it into the sport mode, put it over into the automatic mode. It instantly downshifted automatically for me. Pressing the paddles though, gear shifts on the downshifts are actually pretty quick. Brakes work very well, and we're not going to be lucky. It's going to be a minute before we get an acceleration. Well, now we're finally going to be able to get our acceleration here in the manual mode. Sounds good. That sounds really good. I love that V8 rumble. And the 6.4 Hemi definitely have this like deep, characteristic rumble. Yeah, it definitely sounds really, really nice. I love the sound of this engine, and doing more downshifts. Again, they're quick and responsive when you are going at a little bit higher RPMs. Once you get to lower RPMs, any of these automatic transmissions kind of slow down a little bit. We'll get another little acceleration here. Never mind. I wonder why that happened. Always happens, right? Whenever you try to have fun, someone always comes and tries to poop on your party. But finishing things off for this video, what I would say is The Dodge RT Charger, I think, is just, you guys saw my video on the all-wheel drive one, what I thought about this, but this newer generation, this 8-speed, just completely changes the car. So if you live in a place where you can deal with rear-wheel drive, I definitely think this RT, like a used one, is a great value. I mean, getting over 370 horsepower for less than 30 grand in like a muscle type sedan, and with the aesthetic that this has, I think it's definitely worth it. But yeah, that's the Dodge RT Charger. That is gonna sum things up for our video on this 2019 Dodge Charger RT, and more importantly, just kind of a video about used Dodge RT Chargers. That all being said, again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Provo for providing us with the Charger. Check out their inventory in the link below. I will see all of you in that next video.